Mr. Robbie Britt.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I wanna be a part of it. New York, New York. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray and step around the heart of it. New York, New York. I wanna wake up in a city that doesn't sleep, to find I'm king of the hill, top of the heap. Violin blues are longing to stray and step around the heart of it. New York, New York. If I can make it there, I'd make it. Anywhere, it's up to you. New York, New York. I'll make a random spot of it. New York, New York. If I can make it there, I'd make it anywhere. It's up to you. New York, New York.
God, what an act to follow. Good evening, I'm Stanley Ralph Ross. Welcome to our 8th annual New York celebration. It's always a thrill for me to MC these evenings because there's nothing like a New York audience to make a person feel at home. Last year's show lasted from the night of October 3rd until Purim. Tonight may run even longer, but who cares? What does a New Yorker have better to do than to be here with the people we love, other New Yorkers? I never say ex-New Yorker, because you're never an ex-New Yorker. Furthermore, according to the legendary Lenny Bruce, all of us are Jewish. Lenny once told me that if a person is black or Italian or Irish or Puerto Rican and comes from New York, that person is Jewish. But if you're the president of your synagogue in Kansas City, you're Gentile. So what we have is a New York attitude. You always know where you stand with a New Yorker. It's never a sweet smile and I'll get back to you tomorrow. You never hear that. Now with the New Yorkers, get out of my face and leave me alone. And that's the way it should be. You can't find anyone more honest than that. Unfortunately, it's a trait that still hasn't been fully adopted here on the left coast. Those of you who bought tickets months ago, you know this evening was sold out last April. Further, we've sold 600 seats for our 1994 show. So get your orders in early or be shut out. Thomas Jefferson was a Renaissance man. No, I'm talking about the man, not the school. Jefferson was a Renaissance man, and so was Leonardo da Vinci. It's a term that's bandied about much too easily since Tom and Lenny, Renaissance men, have been scarce as celibate television evangelists. Tonight we honor the one true Renaissance man around in this era, Steve Allen. A writer, a composer, a lyricist, a performer, a musician, a producer. He'd need 2 pages, single space, just to list all the jobs he was out of. I first met Steve when I was 17, and he was the star of the local New York late night show for Rupert Knickerbocker. Remember that? 40-minute show. Steve Lawrence, Needy Gourmet, and Andy Williams were on that show, as were others you'll meet tonight. He was always very kind to this tall kid who lurked around the set. And then I met Jim Moran, a fabulous press agent and a regular wacky guest on Steve's program. Jim wound up hosting the midnight movie on Channel 4 that followed Steve's program and made me his producer at the age of 18. My actual job consisted of schlepping in a suitcase full of scotch and beer every night and keeping all our guests juiced. Governments topple, stars come and go, but Steve Allen has never stopped being a wonderful mensch. He was always ready to lend his name and his considerable talents to worthy causes. He's been at every important charity function in this city, and I think the only disease he might have missed is yeast infections. It is for all of his humanity and his talent that Steve Allen is our 1993 honoree this evening. Give me the house lights, please. And now, to welcome you officially to our annual function, two of Beverly Hills' leading citizens, both from Brooklyn. First, the Honorable Mayor of Beverly Hills from Lincoln High School, Mr. Maxwell Hillary Rodham Salter. Jefferson High School, great educator, teacher, and administrator, the superintendent of Beverly Hills Schools, Dr. Saul Levine.
My wife is a graduate class of 1950. Welcome to Beverly Hills High School.
As I said earlier, if you're from New York, you're Jewish. But that happens later in life as the city begins to shape you. I was in Brooklyn visiting some friends at a Catholic school last June, and we had Back to Brooklyn Day, and I heard the following exchange. A nun said to an 8-year-old girl, "What are rabies, and what can be done about them?" She thought a moment, she said, "Rabies are Jewish priests. And nothing can be done about them." And now a man who started his career with Steve Allen and told me that if he couldn't get a chance to share his reminiscences with all of you, he'd never talk to me again. You know him from Get Smart and The Love Ode. From Erasmus Hall High School, Mr. Bernie Kapell.
Isn't it nice to have your own theme? That's lovely. In '64, I did 30 shows with Steve. And at that time, Steve was doing a show in New York. He was doing a show in California. He was writing, he was composing, he was playing the piano, he was doing one-nighters. And there was one night, he was exhausted most of the time. And you'd see him when he was off stage, he'd be talking into a recorder. He'd be being on a slant board. He'd just use all of his energy. And he got to someplace on a one-nighter and he was exhausted and his limo didn't show up. He had to share a taxi with someone. And this guy's got Steve Allen as a captive audience, and Steve was just trying to get some sleep. And he said, "Oh, there's this building, and there's that building, and there's another building," and Steve was just wanting to rest. And he said, "Oh, look, there's the Murine building." Steve said, "It's an eyesore." When I auditioned for Steve, I was a little nervous. I was a lot nervous because I had a regular job at that time with a hugely successful comedian who had a show at CBS. I'm not going to mention his name because he was kind of grumpy sometimes. He had the show on CBS between 63 and 65. And I remember getting my first laugh in front of an audience in this man's show, and I had a horrible pain in my forearm. He had dug his nails into my forearm for getting a laugh, and that was his way of saying, "I'm really not that comfortable when other people get laughs." And I said, "How is Steve going to be?" And I had 2 pieces of material. One was my sissy Latin American pilot. "Good afternoon. Welcome aboard the Cubana Airlines. We shall be cruising this afternoon at an altitude of 14,000 feet. We just take a pink. You could fly with us today, and please, if there's something you need, anything at all, don't hesitate to call your hostess. He'll be right there." Now, you're not supposed to do things like that today, but I got a lot of work with that. And the other one was having worked with Maurice Schwartz, When we were traveling from Russia to the United States, my parents, and I bless their sainted memory, my parents lost me in London for 3 years. But I never brought it up to them, I never said a word. I was grateful, because if they'd not lost me in London, I would never have this beautiful English accent. So I had no idea how Steve was going to be. I got the job and I was very thrilled, and I met Mike Marmor and Stan Burns. And my first sketch with Steve, I came to my first joke and I wondered what was going to happen. The audience laughed and Steve laughed. During the sketch, he had a very kind of a unique, cackly laugh. Then I came to my next punchline. And the audience didn't laugh as much, but Steve laughed. And Steve used to say, sometimes people would ask him, what is so funny? What are you cackling about? And he said, you think this show is funny? You should listen to the show going on in my head. And there was so much always going on in Steve's head, and he was such an enormous appreciator. We had a sketch that I loved. He introduced me. Nobody knew who the hell I was at the time. And Steve introduced me as, ladies and gentlemen, Japan's foremost comedian, Mitsubishi Mishuga. It's a great pleasure to be here. Now, Mr. Mishuga, would you like to say something to the audience? Yes. どうぞ、俺が見たいんだよ。どうぞない。Well, would you like to tell us what that means in English? May you always walk in the warm summer sun over rolling green fields with the scent of jasmine up your nose. And when you pass by the magnificent Mount Fuji, may it fall down on you, smash your skull, and give you a terrible concussion. It's wrote something in a translation. Now tell me, Mr. Meshuggah, what is the major difference between comedians in the United States and comedians in your country? Also, well, comedian in your country, you have what you call these these stand-up comedian. Say stand-up comedian, you come out to see. Good evening, ladies and germs. Is this an audience or a banzai attack? But in my country, we know how the stand-up comedian. In my country, we have He's a narrow down comedian. Because if a comedian really allows you from this position, much easier to comedically. One of the great gifts, aside from all of the other gifts of working with Steve, was I ran into Mike Marmor and Stan Burns, who created my Siegfried character on Get Smart. Prisoners of Camp Kitchen in Unibaba, you have been whipped, starved, maimed, beaten and tortured, and now the picnic is over. Thank you, Steve. Much gratitude. I love you. You taught us that comedy can be fun. Thank you.
The woman who taught us to not sit under the apple tree with anyone else but her, who introduced us to the Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy from Company D, and convinced us all that by her we were shamed. Ladies and gentlemen, the one in the middle is Patti.
This will be my shining hour, calm and happy and bright. In my dreams your face will flower through the darkness of the night, like the lights of home before me, or an angel watching o'er me. This will be my shining hour till I'm with you again. Oh, it's wonderful, it's marvelous, you should care for me. I love it, it's awfully nice, it's paradise. let's do it. This will be my shining hour till I'm with you again. Till I'm with you. You're with me too. Till I'm with you again. You know what that is? Yeah, Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy. You know, my sisters and I made about 22 movies. And most of them were made at Universal Pictures. And then we made one with Bing and Bob at Paramount Pictures, and one at Warner Brothers and everything. But my favorite movie, out of all those 22, was Buck Privates with Abbott and Costello. Yeah. And you know, we had some wonderful songs that came from that picture. In fact, listen, I know that you know Bette Midler. Now, Bette is a big, big superstar today. She is really a big, well, you know what that little rascal did? She went out and she recorded the Andrews Sisters' complete arrangement of Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy. And I'm telling you, she did such a terrific job. You know, every time I'd hear it on the radio, I always thought it was the three of us. Really. I mean, after all, she did all three voices. She didn't have to split the money either. But I'd love to do that for you tonight, okay? He was a famous trumpet man from down Chicago way. He played the coolest, righteous trumpet that a cat could ever play. He was the top man at his craft, but then his number came up and he was going for drafts in the army now. A blood remedy, he's a boogie woogie bugle boy, company B. He's a blood bugle boy's Uncle Sam. Easy brought him down, he got good jam. The captain to understand, because the next is the cat put on a draft in a band, and on the company jumps when he plays remedy. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy, company B. Two goes the day to the bar. In boogie rhythm, he can't blow a note unless the bass guitar is playing. He makes the company jump when he plays readily. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy, company B. He was the boogie woogie bugle boy, company B. And when he played boogie woogie bugle, he was busy at the Mississippi. And when he plays, he makes the company jump into the bar. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy, company B. Can't throw a note in the basic guitar in the wisdom. The company plays readily. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy, company B. Puts him on sleep boogie every night. Wakes him up the same way in the early bright. They got their hands and stamp their feet. He wants to know all his plays. So stop and gives him a beat. He really breaks it up when he plays readily. He's a boogie woogie in the bar, company B. Da 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 company B. You're really swell, I have to fit you. Do certain expressions that really fit you. And so I rack my brain, hoping you'll explain all the things that you do to me. My dear Mr. Shane, please let me explain. My dear Mr. Shane means that you brag. My dear Mr. Shane, I can't I'll explain. With me, you're the fairest in the land. I will say Bella, Bella, even say goodbye. Each language only helps me tell you how great you are. I to explain. My dear Mr. Shane, so kiss me and say you'll understand. Well, Shane, a boy, you sob and shine your vote, never near, and then say, I've been living, I've been no dear. I tried to explain, my dear Mr. Shane, so kiss me and say you'll understand. God bless you all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Friend in high school, and a guy I played basketball with, and then when we graduated, we took an apartment together. We were, I think I was 17, I was 18, he was 17, he was starring in Take a Giant Step. And then when I got married to my wife, Neela, 35 years ago, Lou held up the chuppah. He's co-chairman of all of our festivities. He's an Oscar winner, a genius, a great friend, Mr. Louis Gossett Jr.
How you doing? This thing is voice activated, I guess. I know Harpo Mesostrano was here. How you doing, Art? Hey. Boy, this is incredible, because if it wasn't for those neighborhoods in New York in those days, I don't think I'd be standing here. I say that in every show and every interview. And one of the things that helped raise me was watching the Steve Allen show. And it was one evening, one show, you know, Steve always got measured, he got haircuts on the show and stuff, and this one time he got measured for a suit. And he was interviewing somebody at the same time, and the tailor was busy. This guy was busy putting tape, I don't know if you all remember this one. Everybody's putting tape on him, you know, under the arms and stuff, and he's talking, and finally the guy was measuring his inseam. And Steve was trying to control himself, you know, talking to this man. And the man was talking like this at the inseam, so finally Steve went, I'll never forget that evening. I'll never forget that. Now that's called fast. The man is a genius, and then 10 minutes later he's playing some kind of beautiful rhapsody on the piano. Thank you for helping raise me, Steve. You're wonderful. The other thing I want to remind you of is my time in Coney Island in Brooklyn. I was raised, I went to live in high school called Stinking Michigan. And I was raised also by a great-grandmother who died at approximately the age of about 115, 116 years old. When all the cousins were sent to her house when our parents had all kinds of jobs. And I remember the story about her and two other ladies, both of them well over 80 years old, sitting there in the kitchen, and I overheard them. And one lady says, you know something, I think I'm getting a little old and senile and forgetful. Because last night I went to get something out of the refrigerator, and I stood there for 15 minutes with the refrigerator door open, trying to remember what I wanted to get out of the refrigerator. Second lady says, I know what you mean. Last night I went to get something out of the closet, and I stood there for 25 minutes, trying to remember what I wanted to get out of the closet. And my grandmother said, you ladies ought to be ashamed of yourselves. You keep telling me about how old and senile you're getting. Look at me, I'm at least 10 years older than both of you. 10 years, and thank God. Who is it? Thank you.
The warm-up, winner of 5 Dramalog Awards, and has distinguished himself on TV, stage, and movies and just beat me out of a part in a film a month ago. He really did, but I still love him, Mr. Sammy Shore.
What am I doing here? I'm from Chicago. I said to Fran, I said, what do you want me to show for? He says, yeah, go tell them a couple of New York jokes. They won't know the difference anyways. This auditorium is special to me. This really is. Beverly Hills High School. Every year I come for the Jewish New Year's and holidays. Jerry Cutler's over there, the rabbi. 4 jokes and another. Why doesn't he get serious? Why doesn't he make this thing real? But also that my son graduated from here, Pauly Shore, Beverly Hills High School. Oh, started in Encino Man. This is where he learned his English. Now he just made $3.5 million in son-in-law. And right this minute, $600,000 for an HBO special. And I'm here standing in front of 2,000 Jews working for Gore. Fighting for my life. Fighting for life. Why should I be jealous? I'm jealous of my own son. I mean, if I knew he was going to become that big of a star, I would have never climaxed. My wife was weird. Itzy was weird. Very weird lady. She used to wake up in the middle of the night screaming, voices, voices, I hear voices. Then I'd calm her down, she'd go back to sleep, and then I'd start the voices again. New York, I used to love to watch Phil Foster and Red Buttons and Jan Murray talk about their tough neighborhoods. Being from Chicago, we had 10, 11-year-old little girls. You know what they did for amusement? They went to New York and beat up the comics. Everyone here is talking about the reunion of the high schools. See, it was different in Chicago. I went to an all-Polish high school, Stanislaus Pulaski High. And I happened to be a star basketball player. I was a lot taller in those days. When you get older, you shrink. I remember basketball players were white and his sneakers were black. The all-Polish school that I went to was called Stanislaus Pulaski High. And I was the only Jewish kid on this all-Polish team. And the cheerleaders, they used to cheer for the guys, spell out the names. What adopt you, what adopt you, what adopt you, what are you, what are you, what are you, okay, X, what is X, N-B-U, what is Z, what is Z, what is Z, P-A, what a K, what a K. By the time you finish spelling, we graduated. Those were wonderful days. I was young, I was athletic. It's a different story now. You get older, life becomes repairs. And you want to run, jog, run, come on, baby, yes, go. Hey, baby, come on, yeah, yeah. And nothing is moving. Well, a couple of years ago, I had 2 complete hip replacements. Ball joint, screws, bolts, nuts, the whole thing. And I didn't go to one of those fancy Beverly Hills doctors. I went to a guy in Pacoima called It's or Us. What is it? Exercise. My doctor told me if I ride the bike, I can live longer. Yeah, 5, 10, maybe 20 minutes more. They say walking is the best exercise. They may be right. When was the last time you saw a Jehovah's Witness die? tennis, I play racquetball, I play basketball, I make love, and then I wake up. I think I've already covered a block. But I got a bad back, I got swollen ankles, swollen knees, I got arthritis and colitis. But thank God I got my health. I don't know what's happening to my body. I wake up, I woke up in the morning and I looked and the hell is this hanging here? It's a turkey girdle. I looked under here and it was hanging down here and I took my shorts off, the goddamn butt was hanging. Trying to go to the bathroom, couldn't find it, it was in a wrinkle. I knew I was getting older. I was lying in the curb one day adjusting the muffler of my car and a cop comes by and outlines my body in chalk. You look for things as you get older. You look at your lifestyle changes, priorities change. You get older, the pain, the operations, and stuff. You become very spiritual. Look to God. Please, God, get me through this operation. I'll go to Jerry Cutler's Friday night services. And I'm no different. What's happened to the evangelist? Tammy Baker's getting married again? Baker's coming out. Look at this. I went the other day, a couple weeks ago, I saw, you remember Jimmy Swaggart? He was the biggest and the best. No longer in this country because of all the investigations. I saw him on a cable show just a few months ago, doing his sermon in front of 50,000 Spanish-speaking people in South America. Swaggart preaching in front of all these Spanish people, doing his sermon in English, and right next to him was the smallest Spanish man interpreting his sermon from English. Little Spanish man interpreting the sermon from English into Spanish. And wherever Swaggart would pace, the small Hispanic man would follow him and interpret it. Swaggart was pacing, and I walk side by side with the Lord. We should look up and show our love to the Lord. Jesus had him. The same love as we show our wives. Because when I preach to the people, I preach to the people because we are nothing. We are lower than nothing. We are like bugs in a fork. Because the Lord wants you. The Lord needs you. The Lord wants your money. No, broken Tuesday, Thursday. When I pray, I think about you people day and night. I love you people so much, I think about you. I said when the cough, and the But I wasn't always this spiritual. I was once a drug addict and an alcoholic. But I knew one day if I could climb the top of the mountain, I'd find the answer I've been looking for all my life. So one day I climbed the top of the mountain and I saw it. Thousands of acres of desolate land. It said, Jimmy Swaggart Land Development Company. And I came down that mountain all by myself, saying, let there be me. Let there be woman. Jessica Han. Let there be a place where the poor people find food, clothing, and shelter. It said, Kmart. be a place where the simple and a demented of man work. Instead of everything IRS. Let there be a place where the ugly people find a job. Instead of the Department of Motor Vehicles. And let there be a place where thousands of incompetent people still make a living. Yeah, but what's it gonna be? Post office. And let there be a place where the Mexicans and Jews get together. Instead of what's it gonna be? Car wash. Hallelujah! Hallelujah! The people in the mountain want to be saved? We'll jump. I love it. Good night, everybody.
We have some very big surprises in Act 2, I was just told, so don't anybody leave. You know, this auditorium is not just held for Beverly Hills High School affairs and our function. 2 weeks ago, there was an interesting thing happened here. I don't know if any of you were here. Hans Holzer, the famous German parapsychologist, was holding a lecture here on ghosts, and the place was packed. And he said to the crowd, is there anyone out there who believes in ghosts? About 500 people raising. Anyone ever see a ghost? 300 people raising. Anyone ever communicate with a ghost, speak to a ghost, have a ghost talk to you? 100 people raising. All right, my last question. Did anyone out there ever have sex with a ghost? And a little Indian guy from New Delhi raised his hand. Good, please come up here, son. Tell us about the time you had sex with a ghost. The Indian guy said, oh, I'm terribly sorry. I misunderstood. I thought you said goat. Watching the Oscars and the Emmys and the Grammys and the Tonys in the past year, I was struck by the fact that if it weren't for New Yorkers, those award shows would last about 12 minutes. We have several Oscar winners here tonight, both in front of and behind the camera. You've already met Lou. One of them is the man who got his award from the special effects and From Here to Eternity and donates all of the equipment that we use each year. From Brooklyn, Mr. Dick Albain. Dick, stand up, please. Okay, at our annual Back to Brooklyn night last April, our next comedian stopped the show with our unique brand of New York humor. From Julia Richmond High School, how about a big hand for Miss Thelma Lee?
How lovely to walk out on the stage with a beautiful feel of middle age. I'm glad I'm not young anymore. See, they said it was going to cool off tonight, so I wanted to be ready. And it didn't cool off, so I just have to get rid of this. How do you like my crazy twin sweater set? How do you like my stole? This was given to me by my husband for our 25th wedding anniversary, and this was for 20 years of services rendered. Oh, God. I am so delighted to be here. I'm not going to work long because you have so many marvelous people coming on, and I don't want to take up the time and just come out here and talk about all these different things. But I know that you're all looking at me and you're wondering, how old is she? And I'm ready to tell you, I'm somewhere between Madonna and Helen Hayes. So I'm not concerned with my age at all. All I know is that getting up in the morning and going to look for my glasses is happiness to me. And if I find them, that's the best thing that I know. But I have a thing about the male comics that come on, you know, all that sort of thing. And then they talk about their wives. Well, I couldn't do that. I couldn't come out here and do that to you because I've been happily married to one man for 56 glorious years. And they've been glorious because I've made all the adjustments. First of all, I live with a man who hasn't closed an eye in 56 years. When he's snoring his head off and I wake him up, he says, how could I be snoring? I'm not even sleeping. When we take a trip, I know we're going to get lost because he won't ask for a direction. Better he should go 70 miles out of the way than anybody should think he's a dummy. And it's fault because I don't fold the map right. The most marvelous thing that's happened to my married life now is I have my own bed. And I think that's just the greatest thing in the world. We have twin beds, and every once in a while my husband gets a thought. By the time he crosses over this much rug, he forgot what he came for. I don't object to all those things because I work very hard at keeping our marriage alive, and I like things to be just where they should be. And he's given me two very wonderful children. I have a son, almost 51, and I have a daughter, 46, and I have 6 grandchildren. I'm not going to bore you with telling you about my grandchildren. Don't applaud because I want to get some time in here. I'm just really kidding. You better applaud, or they won't ask me back again. But I have these 6 grandchildren, and I can tell you in 3 words about my grandchildren. In your life. I don't have any problem with any of these people because when my children were growing up, and my son turned 16 on a Monday, so Sunday night I slept in the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. I should be there early Monday morning for the license. And you know how you go through life with all these kinds of things that happen. And I'll never forget when my daughter met this man that she finally married. And she came home and she said, "Mother, I've met the man of my dreams and I love him." And I knew she was going to marry him because when he came into the house, I helped him off with his coat and his mittens were pinned to his sleeves. I find that traveling and going around and being into different areas kind of works out real well, and I just love it. And you know when people say about a mother-in-law, you know, there are so many mother-in-law jokes, and I just hate them because my daughter-in-law absolutely worships the ground she wishes I was in. I have no objection to that at all. But someday there's really retribution, I must say, because they have 4 children, and they all look like me. So she's going to spend her whole life. But when my daughter's wedding was ready, and then we were going to plan her wedding, I'm giving this hint out to you right now. You know what I did? I sent out pledge cards instead of invitations because I thought that was really the kind of nice thing to do. There's so much that I really would like to tell you, but we're honoring a gentleman tonight that I think is absolutely spectacular. He's wonderful in music, he's wonderful in comedy, he's wonderful as a human being. And so I really don't want to take up too much time, and I hope that sometime they will bring me back and I will tell you all about my family and all about the wonderful things that are happening. And I had the great joy of having the honor of 5,100 performances of Fiddler. And I am so pleased with my career as it's gone. And I find a very strange thing about young people today. They look at people who are older and they can't appreciate them. And I think that's pretty strange. Because when I'm on the freeway, I'm getting the finger. And I know it's my white hair that does it. So I have a bumper sticker and it says, "Don't give me your finger, I have 10 of my own." So that's the way I'm conducting my life. And you know, there's very little that you can do about it. But I think that we are just going to get on of what we can do now. I am so thrilled to be here with you tonight because November I will celebrate, I will tell you the truth, I don't care. I will celebrate my 77th birthday. And I can't think of anything more wonderful than getting up in the morning and just going. And Jimmy Durante had a marvelous song that he used to sing, and it was called Old Man Time, and I love that song because I feel that time makes equals of us all. Old man time, that bugaboo, every year he changes you. He bends your back, bends your eyes, you see less. You shake and quake when he's through, you're a mess. But there's one thing he can't change, love that's true stays the same. It lives on
1942, she was a great ball. I'm very, very thrilled. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, I'm here, seriously, to pay respect and a tribute to a man who was one of the pioneers of early television, a man whose program in the early 50s was a forerunner of many shows that copied him, a man who was adored by millions and millions of TV fans all over the world. But enough about me. Let's talk about Steve Allen. God love him, he's a terrific guy, and I love him madly. He's done so many great things. Well, you've heard what he's done. He's a singer, he's a dancer, he's a piano player, he's a train, he's a everything. And a great humanitarian. He was a man who once took Stevie Wonder to a Marcel Marceau concert. And sat in the back. Before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know, seriously, tonight, I'm not going to stay on very long, and if you believe that, you will also believe there'll be a Richard Simmons Jr. But Steve, this is his night. He's the main man tonight. And the first time that I met Steve Allen was about 40 years ago. And at that time, he was having sex with my cousin. And I didn't even know he knew Irving. And this, but I'm happy to be here. I'm glad to be here because tomorrow I am going on a cruise. I'm going on a Polish cruise. That's right, a Polish cruise, 7 days and 3 nights. And I would like to say that I got so much gas and followed by Arabs. But this, I shake hands with you, but I see you're busy, so. But let me see, what was I saying? Oh yes, no, I don't drink. They're drinking back in the green room. Jews don't drink too much because it interferes with their suffering. And I would like. I don't feel much like really being funny tonight because today I got murdered at the college games again. I lost every one of them, every one, and the Dodgers lost. The Giants won. I'm going bad. I'm unlucky. Show you how bad I'm going. I'm still trying to get the Dukaka sticker off my DeLorean. Very bad. Show you how bad I'm going. About 4 months ago, I loaned my best friend $40,000 to have his face fixed. Now I can't find the son of a bitch. Last night, for example, I gave mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to Tammy Baker. And I fell in. It was terrible. But I'm very glad to be here tonight to Steve because I love Steve. Steve and I have known each other so many years. We were at the William Morris Agency for many, many years. A great agency, great William Morris booking agency. Great agents, every Tuesday, they say to each other, have a nice weekend. Brilliant agency. They just signed Sharon Stone for radio. But I just flew in this morning. I just flew in from North Carolina. I was down there filming at Matlock. So I just did a series on Matlock. I was down in North Carolina, and it's beautiful down in Wilmington, North Carolina. It's the worst. Sunday they have a Jew punching contest. But I flew up here just for Steve and for the school because I flew up on Delta. You know what Delta stands for? Don't ever leave the airport. What an airline. They don't sell you a ticket, they sell you a chance. I knew there was something wrong when I walked toward the airport and I saw a sign that said, terminal. I got in the plane and I looked out the window. Across the wing it said, Mattel. Oh, jeez. I arrived here, and I arrived just a little while, about 2 hours ago, and I got off here at LAX, and I was starved. The food on the plane. I was starved, so I didn't want to, I was so hungry. Yeah, and that I don't remember eating, but this, so I was so hungry in the terminal, I walked into, what's the name of the place, the Mexican place? In Taco Bell. I was never in there. And I walked in there, Taco Bell. How the waiter knew that my religious persuasion, I never know. She kept coming over to me saying, Jew want another taco? Jew want another enchilada? I don't know what I'm saying. Everything happened to me. I got off the plane. So I left there, and in the terminal, a little old lady, she was adorable. She must have been about 92. She walked over and she looked at me, she said, hello, Uncle Milton. I love you. She says, you know, I've been watching you ever since I was a little guy. I said, get the hell out of here. And I walked a little further and I heard two guys talking. They were talking in Iranian. And I got mad. I said, stop talking Iranian. You're an American. I speak Spanish. They don't know what I was talking about. Oh, by the way, do you know how to say 4 Mexicans drowned in Spanish? You know that? You know? 4 cinco. That's it. Here's another one you may not care for. And as I left there and I'm walking into the terminal, this all happened. I'm walking through the terminal and I heard another 2 guys talking at the baggage claim. One said to the other, do you and your wife have mutual climax? He says, no, I think it's State Farm. I don't know what you're talking about. I want to tell you something. I wrote a lot of notes down here about Steve. And then, well, at the terminal, you'd see crazy people. I saw a guy dressed very funny. And I walked over and I said, are you a Jehovah's Witness? He said, I didn't even see the accident. That was something. Then I got in the car, they sent a company, the Sigmunds, very swell people, and no, Fran and Louis, and they sent a limousine, and we were driving here, just got here about an hour and a half ago, or before the show started, and I was in the limousine, and I told the chauffeur, I had my nose fixed on my mouth, don't worry. I told the chauffeur to stop the car because I looked out the window and I saw a woman standing on a corner of Wilshire and Selby or something, Beverly Hills, and she was embarrassing because I saw she was standing with one of her boobs, one of her breasts hanging out of her dress. I was embarrassed, so I walked over and I said, pardon me, lady, you know, one of your breasts are hanging out of your dress. And she said, oh my God, I left the baby on the bus. She was terrible. I'm so happy that I'm here tonight because I love Steve Allen, one of the most talented, most generous, and creative men that I've ever met. And I'm glad that I'm here tonight for reasons because of this. Throw another log on the air conditioner. I was here in this room about 3 months ago. It wasn't for us here. It was for a seminar. It was a seminar on premature ejaculation. That's right, premature ejaculation. I was here. I left early, but I was here. And I see a lot of people from the audience that I know from the golf club to which we all belong to, Hillcrest. If you've been there today, you've seen the members. The actual age of the members is they're deceased there. I saw a man walk in with his widow the other day. I had lunch there one day. I picked up a glass of water to drink it. There was somebody's teeth in it. It was terrible. I'm a hell of a golfer, really. The other day I played there. I lost the ball in the ball wash. But the day that I played there, they had a tournament, a women's tournament, and I walked over to one of the women players. I said, "Are you a professional?" She said, "Not if I like somebody." It was very, very nice, you know. I did very well. I hit 2 good balls. I tripped over a rake. But this is really... I'm not waiting. Oh, by the way, I would like you to meet, ladies and gentlemen, step down here. Personally, you weren't introduced, but just don't come to it. I worked alone. I want you to meet really one of the great conductors. Motorman, he should be, but he's Mr. Manny Homily. Manny. What? Tell him what? What? Oh, yeah. He wants me to. The drummer, the band, is very happy tonight. His wife just gave birth to an 8-pound baby girl. How about the proud father standing up and taking a bow? The proud father standing up. It's not the truth. It gives him a chance to straighten out the drawers. But this, I got to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of children, I just had a birthday, and my grandchild, 8 years old, Jimmy, was very, very gracious to me. He gave me a gift. It was a gift of love. One thing he gave me. You know, there's a switch, I can't get it down. But he gave me... My grandchild gave me a canary. Of all things that I needed. And he put the canary in a cage, and he put the cage with the canary in my bedroom. It was there for 3 days. Everything was all right. One morning, I woke up, I looked at the bottom of the cage, I saw the canary lying there. I thought it was dying. I didn't know what to do. So I got on the phone, and I dialed the phone. But I made a mistake. Instead of dialing a pet hospital, I got a hold of massage parlor. And a voice answered and said, "Hello, this is Bruce." I said, "This is not Berle. I'm having trouble with my bird." He said, "Well, you certainly called the right number." I said, "Then you do take care of birds?" Are you kidding? It's my specialty. You know my slogan, roses are red, violets are puce. If a bird needs attention, bring it to Bruce. I said, "I'm very happy, Bruce, because I'm very attached to my bird." He said, "My God, I hope so." I said, "Yeah, I can't get my bird to sit on my shoulder." He said, "It reaches your shoulder?" I said, "Sure, if you don't believe me, come over to see it. You can see it's lying at the bottom of his cage." He said, "You keep your bird in a cage?" I said, "Well, if I didn't, it would fly away." It flies? I said, "Why not? It's got feathers." Feathers? He said, "Well, I'll tell you what you do, Mr. Berle. You can laugh, but this got me out of the Army." So I'll tell you what to do. He said, "You wrap your bird up in a hot towel, bring it over to me, and I'll massage it for 20 minutes. I said, "Will that make it sing again?" He said, "Well, I don't know if I can make it sing again, but I guarantee it'll hum all the way to the shower." And that's the bird story. I thought that you liked that. Applause, applause. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I was talking about getting married. I was talking about my birthday. I did have a birthday last July. So far, they give me 6 birthdays. My last birthday was July 12th. I hit the big number. I was 85, and I'm very, very thrilled that I'm here with you tonight at 85. I don't feel it. I feel like a 20-year-old. But there's never one around. I'll tell you guys in the audience, seriously, sex at 85 is terrific. Especially the one in the winter. No, I just recently got married. I've been married 2 years to a lovely lady. She's, well, I'm 85, and she's 49. Ow. And I'd like to stand up and take a bow. I'd like you to meet Lorna Berle, ladies and the spotlight. Please, stand up, Lorna, spotlight. Gorgeous. Terrific. Lorna and I, shall I tell them, we make love almost every day in the week. Almost Monday, almost Tuesday. This I will tell you. She's going to kill me. I think it was 2 months ago, we made love for 1 hour and 3 minutes. 1 hour and 3 minutes. Of course, that's the night they turned the clocks back. You know, ladies and gentlemen, we had Stanley Ralph Ross, who was very funny. Not tonight, but he was very, very funny. I'm kidding, he's really wonderful. And I forgot to mention, we had a few disappointments tonight. George Burns was supposed to be here, but couldn't make it. Something came up, and he was very proud. And Shirley MacLaine, she was going to be here, but she couldn't make it. She's having dinner with Alexander Hamilton. And Sinatra sends his love. By the way, I just read in the paper, Sinatra's flying to Rome. He's speaking to the Pope, who wants the Pope to make him a cardinal. And that way we'll only have to kiss his ring. Oh, I love Sinatra. I love Sinatra. It's my favorite Italian singer. I just figured out something. I figured out why most Italian guys have short necks. That's just standing in front of the grand jury and saying, I don't know. I'll tell you one thing. The Italians and the Jews got a lot in common. Really, it was an Italian who invented the toilet seat. But it was a Jew who had brains enough to put a hole in it. You don't know that. Yep. I gotta tell you one story that Stanley forgot to tell you. You're all from the East, from New York. You all know the stage delicatessen with Max Astis, who owned the deli. He had a tremendous accent. Well, you like it, you like the pastrami. You love it. The day was. So one day, when he was living, he had the deli, and it's still there. He's standing there, and in comes an Arab into the delicatessen with all the outfit, right? And he's talking to his waiter, he says, you see what I see, man? See, we got them Arab there, son of a bitch. Dirty bastard. Hates the Jews, bastard. What is he ordering? He said he just ordered a hot pastrami sandwich on wrapper with mustard, a little potato salad, and cream soda. So really, so I want to tell you what you do. Charge the son of a bitch $50 for the sandwich. You charge him $50. He pays it. The Arab pays it. Next day, the Arab comes back with 3 more Arabs, all in their outfit. He says, son of a bitch. I'm 10 with the best. What they order? Same thing, hot pastrami on rye, cream soda, potato salad. Charge the bastards $100 a sandwich. You charge them $100 a sandwich. And they all pay it. Well, 4 days later, 90 Arabs come in. They all order the same thing, the hot pastrami on rye with the mustard, everything. He says, charge them $200 a sandwich. They charge them $200. They pay the $200 a sandwich. The next day, Max owns the place. The owner puts a sign in front of the deli, says, "No Jews allowed." was talking about Frank Sinatra before, who was speaking about humanitarian deeds. I gotta just say something in this spot about Francis Albert. That no one knows about the great deeds that... I know this is Steve's night, and Steve deserves it, but I must speak about Frank. He, Sinatra, is one of the great humanitarians, too, a great philanthropist. He does things that nobody knows about. Single-handedly, you didn't know this, single-handedly in Palm Springs, he built the Desert Hospital, I swear. And nobody knows that. And he put all his friends in it. But I would like to say, a true story, and it's not the truth, I should drop dead in this spot. One day, this is true, Sinatra, unbeknownst to anyone at the Desert Hospital in Palm Springs, walked up the stairwell the back way and walked into a sick man's room. The man was dying. This man was very sick. Nobody knew him. Frank was sitting there with this sick man, and he sang to the sick man for 1 straight hour. Now, I think that's sensational. Then as Sinatra was leaving, he said to the sick man, "I hope you get better." And the sick man said, "You too." But people like Sinatra and Steve Allen, I may use this very loosely, but I mean it sincerely, will be immortal. They will go down in history as immortals. And in the immortal words of the jolly green giant, who said there's nothing like a good pea. No. In the immortal words of Moses, when he stood on top of Mount Sinai and said, "What a spot for a hospital." In the immortal words of the hunchback of Notre Dame, who said to his tailor, "Forget about the pants, fix the goddamn jacket." In the immortal words of Mrs. Alexander Graham Bell, who said to her husband when she was in bed with him, "Your 3 minutes are up." In the immortal words of Jimmy Carter, who said to the Pope, as the Pope was leaving the White House, "Next time, bring the wife and kids." In the immortal words of Heidi Fleiss, when the cops were handcuffing her, and she said, "That'll cost you $200 more." In the immortal words of Amelia Earhart, who said, "Forget about me, find my luggage." In the immortal words of Madonna, whose left leg said to her right leg, "Have we met lately?" In the immortal words, I'm laughing because I know the punchlines. In the immortal words of Abraham, who said to God, "Now God, let me get this straight. They get to keep the land and the oil, and we get to cut off the tips of our what?" In the immortal words of General Custer, the first man ever to wear an arrow collar, who said, "I don't know, they were all right at the dance last night." That's the Indians. Love yours. Now, in the immortal words of Tom Thumb's wife, who said to Tom, "It's the little things about you that annoy me." In the immortal words of Cain, whose wife said to him, "I'm divorcing you because you're not able." In the immortal words of King Solomon, who said to his 1,000 wives, "Who hasn't got a headache?" In the immortal words of Queen Elizabeth, who said, "Not now, I'm on the throne." In the immortal words of Jack the Ripper's mother, who said to Jack, "How come I never see you with the same girl twice?" Pardon, Mike. In immortal words of Lee Iacocca, who said to Dolly Parton, "Why do you need airbags?" In the immortal words of Dr. Spock, who said, "Never raise your hands to your kids. It leaves your groin unprotected." In the immortal words of Roxanne, who said to Cyrano de Bergerac, "I don't care what you call it, put a condom on it." In the immortal words of Mrs. Dan Quayle, who said to her husband when she was in bed with him, "You're no Jack Kennedy." Oh. In the immortal words of Adam, who said to Eve in the Garden of Eden, "Stand back. I don't know how big this thing gets." Ladies and gentlemen, we're nudging around here because I have to pish. And, Christ, I miss Gilligan's Island. Look at this. I can't stand much longer. I've got to be on the set in June. But I would like just to say that I do have to tinkle. And I know we've been sitting quite a long time. And I hope that you have enjoyed the first half of the show.